it's Dan Book Nook Noggin here with another book review. This time I'm here to review Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. Is it Paul Tremblay or Paul Tremblay? I've heard it pronounced both ways, but I've not really had like a Paul Tremblay book yet that has really super impressed me. I was interested in reading this one because I kept hearing people talk about it and saying that it was zombies. And so I was like, yay, I love zombie fiction. So I was like, I will go ahead and check this one out. No, this one is not zombies. This one has a pandemic, which kind of during when you're facing a pandemic and you're reading about a pandemic really made it a hard read for me at first. Hearing about PPE and, quarantines and all that really made this a struggle for me at first to read this. It's roughly around 320 pages. And I mentioned that people had said it was a zombie book, but it's not. What it entails is a pandemic of a rabies nature. It's a super rabies virus. And the podcast I had listened to with Paul Tremblay was about how he got the idea to write this book. He was walking his dog, I guess, and he had read a nonfiction book about rabies, and he decided to go from there. So he really did a lot of research about rabies. So he kind of, went into some detail about rabies. Now, I mentioned that I have yet to find a Paul Tremblay book that I've been really super that I thought was really super good. My history with reading his stuff so far, I found a lot of his stuff to just kind of be 3 stars for me. It's just pretty average for me. I don't know if I've been tainted because I heard someone else's opinion. Either it was a blog article or I heard it someplace, but someone had said that Paul Tremblay has a habit of reimagining other people's books, and they compared his Head Full of Ghosts to being a remake of The Exorcist, etc., etc. But I'm not here to, downplay his books. I'm just saying that so far they just haven't really been for me. They've been okay. I've really found the ones I have read by him to be pretty mediocre, but that's just my opinion. This one, like I said, it was kind of hard to get into it, being that we are in the COVID-19 pandemic ourselves. And I know it was not, he couldn't predict the future. He didn't know that we were going to be experiencing a pandemic when this book got released. So that really, really sucks that it's a coincidence that they kind of happened at the same time. But like I said, it was really hard for me to really get into this book at first. Once I did get into it, it kind of was a roller coaster read for me. It really just started to ramp up until we get to the climax of the book. It's about these 2 friends. We've got Natalie and Romola, I think her name is, if I remember right. I just remember her nickname was Rams, and the other girl was called Nats. And the Nats was a pregnant lady who just recently lost her husband due to a rabies-infected individual attacking her and her husband in their home. She gets bit. She goes to seek out her friend because her friend Romola is a doctor. And this just goes on this whole journey to try to make sure that she can save her life. That's why it's called Survivor Song. And I guess Paul Tremblay had mentioned in this podcast I listened to that the title is a tribute to a song. And I don't remember the band who had done the song, but it's a tribute to some band that he likes. And yeah. But anyways, I thought it was hard to get into this when it first started, but once it got started, I was really into it, and I was almost thinking this may be the one Paul Tremblay book that I'm absolutely gonna love. Until we got to this point where these 2 gal pals meet this group of kids on bikes. And it just I felt like at that point, the book jumped the shark for me. I felt like it took a nosedive at that point. I felt like the whole the author kept referencing, movies. Not actual movies, but trying to have the characters say, this happened like in this movie, but they didn't name specific movies, but they tried to make it seem like what they were going through was a movie, like a screenplay or something. And I just found that to be really tacky, in my opinion. I just didn't really... And then I kept thinking, I'm like, this is not the Goonies. I felt like they was trying to be like the fucking Goonies. And I lost interest at that point. And like I said, from that point on, it kind of took a downward spiral for me. And then, like, I got the emphasis there was the subplot of the relationship between friends, because it wasn't just the two girls, it was also these two boys, the bike boys, and how their relationship, there was, like, after the intermission, which I have to admit was, like, it didn't happen till, like, the last third of the book, which didn't make any sense to me, but the last third of the book was an intermission and went into the second part. And that was where, you know, he kind of explained what happened to the two boys after they went out on their own when they separated from the two girls. But yeah, it was enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging it. I mean, maybe some people, I could see other people who are already Paul Tremblay fans, maybe you'll really enjoy this. For me, I found it to be an average read. Like I said, I just didn't like that middle, that climax when they run into the bike kids. And I felt like it kind of jumped the shark for me. At that point, it really was not as entertaining as it was before, because there was a lot of action leading up to this point. Like, you know, like it starts out action-packed, you know, where the couple gets attacked, and then there's the whole thing in the hospital, and I'm not going to give too many details because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, there was a lot of action leading up to this whole meeting of these boys on the bikes. And then they run into these other people, and then it just kind of ends. And it did have a happy ending. That's not spoiling it, because I'm not telling you how it ended, but it did have a happy ending. And I felt like it was kind of the way it ended. You had to fill in the blanks. You knew what had happened, even though the author didn't like come right out and say it. But, you know, the way it ended was kind of, it felt flat to me. Like, I think we already knew that was going to happen. But like I said, this was a 3 out of 5 star book for me, guys. Like I said, maybe Paul Tremblay is just not for me. And a 3-star rating is not a bad rating. It just means it was just okay. It was average in my book. I've read other stuff that I thought was much better. Maybe I'm just biased because, like I said, I heard that opinion from somebody else, and it's stuck in my head, and that's why I keep thinking that, you know... But it is what it is. For those of you guys in the U.S., I will have a link to Amazon where you can go ahead and check this out for yourselves. For you international folks, I'm going to have a bookshop.org link. If you've read this, let me know what you thought of it. Did you think it was a great read? You know, like, what did you really enjoy about it? For me, I felt it was very average. I thought it was okay. It is what it is. I mean, there's not much more I can say. It felt like, I will give it this, it was kind of fast-paced at moments. There were some scenes where I was like, man, yeah, I can't put this down because I want to find out what's going to happen. And I don't want to throw out the whole Thelma and Louise kind of thing, because it is this gal pal, like, road trip yet again, just like Vic LeMay's book, Nocturnal Blood. Yeah. But yeah, they kind of go on this little trip. But yeah, and it's a short trip because all the events take place in like one day. So I guess that kind of ramps up the speed of it. But, you know, I found it to be interesting. It gave me definitely an average rating because I thought the whole idea of the super rabies virus was an interesting concept. That was kind of the most redeeming quality for me. Was it kind of reminded me at times of 28 Days Later, if you've ever seen that film. If you've ever seen 28 Days Later, then you might really enjoy this. They're not really zombies, per se. They're more like this, you know, they're infected with rabies. They're just rage-fueled, like, nonsense, you know, just, you know, like, so, yeah, it is what it is. But that's what I thought of that book. It is what it is. I can't say anymore, and I don't want to spoil it. But if you came here looking for book reviews and book recommendations, please hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. This has been Dan. It's 2021. Hopefully shit's going to get much better. I know my channel's growing, and I'm super stoked about that. Hopefully by 2022 I can reach 1,000 subscribers. I feel like I'm like the last person in the race to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Dan. Bye.